Hi, I'm John Byrne, editor of Poets and Quants.
I'm Sandy Kreisberg, the HBS guru.
And welcome to another edition of Handicapping Your MBA Odds. Today's candidate is a 24-year-old Native American female. She is from a top 20 public university with a BS in civil engineering. She has a 3.9 GPA and a 690 GMAT. For the last 3 years, she's worked as a project engineer for a management construction firm. She's had 3 promotions in those 3 years. And she has a range of pretty good schools that she wants to go to, starting Harvard, Stanford, Michigan, Duke, USC, Notre Dame, pretty wide range of schools. What do you think about this candidate?
Let me focus on the elements that are really important. You've got a female engineer, that's a real plus. You've got a Native American, that's a real plus. And you've got someone who's got an engineering degree and is working for an engineering company. That's a super plus. If this woman can get convincing on all of those issues, she's a strong candidate. Let's start with the Native American part. I'm no expert in this, but it's helpful if you declare yourself to be Native American that you have a narrative that has deep support in Native American heritage, Native American issues. The state senator in Massachusetts, the federal senator in Massachusetts, Elizabeth Warren, declared herself to be a Native American, and she doesn't look like a Native American, and took a lot of flack for it.
Well, it's 1/16th, right?
That's what it turned out to be, and
yeah.
I don't know if there's legislation on this, but if you're claiming Native American heritage, it helps the stronger that case is. So that's a potential issue for this woman. The second issue I see is she works, ideally what you want to do if you're an engineer is you want to work for a huge engineering company, an engineering company that everyone's heard of, okay? It's not necessary, but it's very helpful. This woman works for a 200-person engineering company, and the one project she describes is fixing software. So that's not adding luster to being an engineer. What we want is someone who's out there with one of those orange vests stopping traffic, okay? That's what we want for a woman working for an engineering company with a whistle and bossing around guys who are driving big rigs, okay? And then going back and doing planning to quarterback that. So that's an issue. So you want to upgrade that issue. Aside from that, the 690 GMAT is silver, not gold. Schools like Harvard, Stanford, and Wharton want to see a 7 in that, but they're certainly willing to wink at it, and they'd wink at it in this case because you've got a Native American woman engineer.
Now, what about her extracurriculars? She currently participates in a group that harvests fruits and vegetables and sells them at local food banks and soup kitchens. She served as president for 1 year and marshal for 1 year of her Civil Engineering Honor Society while in undergrad. What do you think?
I think that's great in God's eyes, and I think it's great in my eyes. I don't think it's going to cut a lot of mustard in the eyes of the cynical admissions committee. The fruits and vegetables thing is just not scaled enough. It doesn't integrally relate to what else she does. Being class marshal of a big school is something that an admissions committee appreciates because it shows leadership. Being the president of a civil engineering club is it's better than not joining any clubs, but it's not gonna move the needle.
Right. Okay, so here are her schools. Harvard. What are the odds?
if she can make a case that she is registered, I believe that's the correct term, Native American, I think her odds at Harvard are, 40 to 50%. Native American is the most difficult, underrepresented minority group to fill for business schools. So when you see a Native American with a 690 GMAT and an engineering background, you'd want to take that person under most circumstances.
And she's 24, and you know that Dee likes him young. She does.
I'm not going to comment on that, but being young is helpful at
Harvard and Stanford.
In applying to Harvard and Stanford.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And what about Stanford?
Stanford's going to like the same thing Harvard is going to like. This is an interesting question of how much the 690 and the small company damages her. And I don't mean to be super skeptical. It's a case of if there are other Native American female professionals out there that Stanford might like more.
Should you retake the GMAT, incidentally?
If you could do better on it, yeah. I think the split was low in the quant part, which is also odd given your background. So
710, 720 would look a lot better, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would. The schools are the ones who say that we don't care that much, but they care more than they let on. The numbers don't lie. The median and the mean GMAT, both the median and the mean, are real high at Harvard, Stanford, and Wharton. Yeah.
So another school, Michigan, is on our list.
Yeah, Michigan would go for this for the same reasons Harvard and Stanford go for it. She's a very compelling candidate.
So 50 plus?
Yeah, for sure.
And Kellogg?
Kellogg, even more so, I was going to say that in Yiddish, but I'll save you. As my grandmother would say, yeah. Als besser, if that's the correct term, yeah.
So 50 plus at Kellogg. I know you don't like to go more than 50 plus because that's just, a little bit too much. But how about Duke?
She should get into Duke. At places like that, it's convincing the school that you want to go there. And it's worth applying because some of those schools that give you a lot of money.
USC, Notre Dame are our last two choices.
It's Duke plus. I mean,
there you
go. She should get into those schools if she can convince them she wants to go.
And they almost sound like safety schools for her, given the background, her age, her scores, her
That's correct.
Profession.
Yeah.
Think you're right about the small construction company. They're probably not going to be sending many people to Harvard and Stanford, so you got to really make a case for that.
Got to make a case for what you do there.
Yeah.
That it sounds like it's for real. I think she said it's the third largest something in California. I don't know if that's there, but you have to make a case that the company is real, that you're doing real work. Schools prefer people from prestige companies for the simple reason that it's something else they don't have to think about. If you work for what's that huge construction company?
Turner.
Yeah, Turner or the other monster company. They go, right, we know that. You've already been filtered. They've hired you. They've got a professional HR staff. That company has filtered you. Schools, the same reason they like people who work for Bain and McKinsey.
All about reducing the risk adverse.
You got that.
All right, well, good luck to our candidate, Ms. Construction. Looks like the odds are pretty much in your favor. Thank you all for listening.